I complied and always reported everything to auditors as required. Management later dismissed me for gross misconduct without warning. I met and exceeded all my targets and even assisted other departments regularly when I had the time. I did not interact with other employees inappropriately. They resented my reporting, and I reported illegal practices. We manufactured fire doors for reference, and the manager only cared when his superior visited and noticed our work. For further context, I was also groped by a coworker on multiple occasions, and management was uninterested. This was genuinely one of the worst companies in the UK. It's a shame they produce fire doors. Story 27. I had a part-time job at a grocery store while I was studying. My boss did not understand that I prioritized school over the underpaid job. I informed him in advance that I could not work on a specific day because it was the day of my exams, and I could not take on any extra work that week. However, he assigned me work almost every day that entire week, including the day I requested off. He refused to listen to me, and none of my coworkers offered help. In the end, I had to fake an illness to complete my exams. Eventually, my boss was fired by his superiors after he disappeared for 6 months. He tried to blame it on diabetes. Story 28. I was reflecting on why so many people targeted me for harassment. It wasn't too serious, but it was annoying. My mom said it was probably because of the ring in my nose. Fantastic. I was blamed by my own mother for my facial piercings. She also once told me I wouldn't get into the college I wanted because I dyed my hair black. I'm not sure what one thing has to do with the other. Does the college even see you when you apply? If I bring any of this up later, she'll just say it never happened. I have no idea if she actually forgot or just doesn't want to acknowledge it. Others with similar parents can probably relate. Story 29. 4th grade art teacher. No blue wolves, no Pokemon, no comics. Just make normal art or I'm going to fail you. Art class was supposed to be a place where I could have fun learning. She made it clear that was not the case. Even more than 20 years later, I still struggle to connect anything my brain associates with the word art, because I genuinely gave up after her class. Story 30. She's fine now, said to me by my mother every time I tried to tell her about the latest unhinged thing my father did, and that I was scared he was going to snap and hurt me. After a while, I just gave up trying. Story 31. You do not have that symptom. You have not been diagnosed with that disorder. Mother, I regret to inform you that executive dysfunction is indeed a symptom of attention deficit hyperactivity disorder, which you insisted I had and for which I was diagnosed. However, my mother never admitted she was wrong, so I engaged in a several-day conflict with an adult over this, before realizing I was wasting my time and just ignored her. It added to a long list of medical gaslighting. Also, executive dysfunction is not unique to attention deficit hyperactivity disorder. This woman is so deep in denial that I would have to cough up a tonsil stone into the palm of her hand before she would believe I have one. Story 32. I had a new bar manager when I was a bar supervisor. I had been running the bar single-handedly for over 6 months while waiting for a new manager. When he arrived, I was told to stop what I was doing to run the place efficiently, so I complied. After a while, I went on holiday for 2 weeks, and when I returned, the first thing he said to me was, "Please fix everything." Story 33. I have attention deficit hyperactivity disorder and autism. I get overwhelmed quickly in a public setting. I told my boss I was starting to fall into a panic attack. She said, "It's okay. Everyone feels like this. I'm having a panic attack because I have to mask at work, and it's exhausting." My mask was starting to slip. Story 34. I was in 6th grade when my math teacher presented an advanced problem on the board. She stated that whoever was the first to solve it correctly and show their work would not have to do homework for a week. I disliked homework and seized this opportunity. I completed the problem and brought it to her desk. She reviewed it and told me, "You got the correct answer, but you worked it out horizontally instead of vertically. It should be vertical, so I cannot give you the homework pass." Story 35. I was at school. The teacher was acting all high and mighty, saying, "Oh, you didn't ask to go to the bathroom? Marked absent." I replied, "Well, I guess I should have just used a bottle instead of leaving without permission." The teacher responded, "I am your teacher. You have to do as I say because I am better than you." Story 36. My husband used to work for a company that advised him to consider how his daughter would feel if he continued causing trouble and got fired. We do not have children at all, let alone a daughter. Story 37. You don't sound happy enough, said the foreman. I was the only woman on the crew and the only one to receive comments like this. I responded by using my best Alicia Silverstone clueless imitation whenever he spoke to me. Story 38. I was once fired even though he agreed my work was fine. However, I had stated that I was there for the money while working as a waiter during graduate school. He preferred people who were committed to the company. It was a British-themed chain restaurant. I found the situation ridiculous, so I just laughed and left. Story 39. My manager stated that while they understood the rules, they were asking me to break them. The same manager later argued against assigning a task to another group, despite the fact that it had been imposed on us while we were severely understaffed. Story 40. My boss was ordering me to do things from the other side of the restaurant. When I asked what he wanted, he walked away because he didn't hear me, just like I couldn't hear him. A few minutes later, he asked if I had completed the task, and I replied that I didn't hear what he said. He then told me I should listen better. I responded that it wasn't about not listening, but about the fact that I couldn't hear him. He labeled me as arrogant, which shocked me given that I was his employee. Later, I apologized for being smart, hoping he would apologize for calling me arrogant. He simply said it was fine and attributed his comment to the heat of the moment without acknowledging what he had said. Story 41. A high school teacher said that I cannot do math as a girl, even after becoming second in the entire country in a math competition. When my parents told him that was impossible, he said my achievement was just luck, and that I guessed the right answers. Story 42. The owner of a company I worked for instructed me to sell a specific product to a client. The client was our largest and had explicitly communicated that they did not want that product in advance. I made the pitch based on the owner's directions. The client chose a new supplier, and our company ceased operations shortly after. Story 43. What task has the highest priority? Everything has the highest priority. Well, great. That means nothing has priority, and I get to choose which task I feel like doing right now. Got it? No, I don't have that ticket done yet. I was working on another high priority task, remember? Story 44. Are you sure you are having an asthma attack and not just running away from your bullies? Asked a teacher who was the principal at school. I was visibly out of breath, shaking from the salbutamol, and sweaty. No, I wasn't avoiding them. They weren't in my class. Yes, I was on puff 10 of my inhaler, and my condition continued to worsen until I was taken to the emergency room. Story 45. When I conducted quality control for a company that manufactured parts for aircraft, I learned their reasoning for hasty shipments. It was the end of the month, and they wanted to make their numbers look good. If anything was wrong, their receiving inspector would return the items. I resigned shortly after that. Story 46.